In the grand coliseum of politics, history often serves as a touching reminder of the perils of hubris. Those who ignore the lessons of the past frequently find themselves ensnared in a web of their own making. Such is the cautionary tale of Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, whose reign was characterized by unbridled ambition, political intrigues, and misreading of his own influence. Now, once a formidable figure in Lagos politics, appearing to operate above the constraints of hierarchy and party discipline, his tenure was marked by an alarming sense of self-importance, leading to the perception that he considered himself an institution unto himself. Now, the perception soon morphed into a reputation as the Emperor of the Assembly, a title that reflected not just his overreach but the disdain he garnered from his peers. Now, in a dramatic display of arrogance, he not only walked out on political leaders but also dismissed the very ones who actually supported him then. With political scientist and analyst Dr. Jide Johnson, we zero in on the climate in Lagos, which grew increasingly fraught over the dramatic display of arrogance from Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, right here on Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I'm Odiawa AI. Join us shortly. You're welcome back to the show. The show is Viewpoints, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I have with me on the show Dr. Jide Johnson, political scientist and analyst. You're welcome to the show, sir.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. I do believe you had a very stress-free weekend and a smooth day running on this Monday. Okay, moving on. I want to believe you're quite conversant with the happenings in Lagos regarding Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. Now, with how informed you are, members of the Lagos State House of Assembly had impeached Mr. Speaker Mudashiru Obasa, who was actually accused of multiple statutory and financial infractions. Now, might I ask, what implications might the impeachment of Mr. Speaker on the governance and political dynamics within Lagos State Assembly, especially in relation to public trust and accountability in financial dealings? What impact will be the implications now?
Well, first and foremost, the beauty of the legislature is that whoever heads the legislature is first among the equal.
Okay.
A member of the Lagos State House of Assembly could have automatically become the speaker. However, in their wisdom, they elect their speaker. So every speaker enjoyed that speakership based on the support of the members. And the moment you see them being above board, above your honorable members, you'll be impeached. In actual sense, Lagos State happens to be one of the few states in Nigeria whereby you have stability when it comes to the leadership of the State House of Assembly. In most states, it's always protracted with crisis, with speaker being impeached left, right, and center. So speaker being impeached is nothing new. You see that the moment he was impeached, a new speaker was elected and was sworn in automatically. So the speakership is like barrack, soldier go, soldier come, and which also gave Lagos the first opportunity of having the first female speaker. So as far as I'm concerned, his removal, his impeachment does not have any impact on the workings of the House because that was quickly resolved. And that in itself tells you that it will not have any impact whatsoever on the governance of the state because the leadership of the House is in place. Another leadership was also announced on Friday with new leadership structure put in place, the deputy speaker, majority leader, chief whip, and the rest of it. Okay. So if we look at it from the business of governance, nothing will be affected when it comes to the business of governance. But when you look at it from the issue of financial propriety, well, an accusation has been leveled. And I think that they need to bring everything into the public domain so that we can see whether what the speaker has been accused of is really guilty of it or not. But it's just mere accusation. We have not seen it. And it has not been It has not been brought into the public domain or has been taken to court for prosecution. So as far as I'm concerned, in my own understanding, the speaker is still innocent until charged and proven guilty. All other things that have been said concerning the impeached speaker, I think it's just playing politics and playing to the gallery.
Okay. You made mention of impeachment not being a new thing when it comes to governance. Well, if we'll come down to Lagos State, we'll notice that Lagos State has been having a history of showcasing some sense of sanity when it comes to impeachment of the speaker. When you're talking about impeachment of the speaker now, is pronounced particularly in areas such as Rivers State, Edo State, the South regions. But the sense of sanity seems to be, more pronounced in a state like Lagos State. Before they will begin to embark on such action, it therefore means that some grievances must have been on the way. As I began to say earlier on, ab initio, they had to start calling him an emperor of the assembly. Would you say now that before Lagos State will begin to move concerning this, nothing has actually been brought, which I will say palpable evidence now before him now? Would you be in the right standing to say that something is actually amiss?
Well, I would say that that the speaker was impeached shouldn't come to anybody as surprising as something new. If you look at some of the missteps, the famous banana peel that Chuba Okadipo,
Yes.
the first president of the Senate, spoke about in 1999, I think that the speaker stepped on the famous banana peel. You see, when you're elected as speaker, you become first among the equal.
Yes.
You are not above every other person. You enjoy that leadership at the mercy of your members. But the situation whereby you load it over them, over your membership, and you operate, quote unquote, like you pointed out as an emperor, then it's just a matter of time that you lose that seat. Once that seat is taken away from you, you lose relevance and you lose your leadership position. And I think that's what happened to this present speaker. It did not learn from the past, it did not learn from what happened to other speakers or Senate president across the length and breadth of this country. And as a result of that, he stepped on the banana peel. Don't forget what he said concerning people that have become governors in Lagos State during the budget presentation.
Yes.
By the governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
Yeah.
It was also alleged that they kept the governor waiting for hours. On a personal note, I have my own personal grievances, and it's very simple. I visited the State House of Assembly last year, and when I got to the State House of Assembly after visiting the place for a very long time, I saw that the Lagos State House of Assembly was under siege. There were barriers that were constructed across the Lagos State House of Assembly. And then for you to get to the assembly, from the gate, you have to make a call. And somebody had to clear you before you enter through the gate. Then when you get to the waiting room, you have to get clearance again before you get to the floor you are going to. When you get to the floor you are going to, you have to get clearance again from that floor before you get to the office which you are going. It is antithetical to House of Assembly, which is made up of elected representative of the people. I was so livid and I was so angry when I saw that. How could somebody easily access that place that is meant to be the House of Assembly? Normally, in a democratic setting, this is the place that all of us should assemble based on the principle of democracy. But all of us cannot assemble. So there are delegates that we send to that assembly to assemble on our part. But occasionally we can go to this assembly. But that assembly, it was easier for you to enter a military cantonment than for you to enter that Lagos State House of Assembly. And for me, it was a no-no. So if from that alone, he could tell you the way and manner in which he ran that House of Assembly. So for me, it was not surprising that he was impeached because it was becoming too dictatorial and too employee, in my opinion.
Okay, that's quite understood. Now, in the scheme of things, there's hierarchy. And when we come to this hierarchy now, you will agree that all fingers are not equal, even in government. Now, a chieftain of the APC, the All Progressives Congress, Fawad Oki, he had actually revealed on a televised show that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who of course who is the father figure for the APC, was well aware of the impeachment of Obasa, stating that Tinubu was involved in efforts to actually mediate the lingering crisis in the assembly, which of course you've just given some analysis where it was freer to enter a barracks than even the House of Assembly. Now, Tinubu, in efforts to mediate the lingering crisis in the assembly, observed Obasa's unwillingness to actually cooperate. Now, how do you think President Tinubu's involvement in the impeachment of Obasa reflects the dynamics of leadership within the APC and the Lagos State House of Assembly, judging from what you've just said?
Now, well, if you are the leader of the party and Lagos is your base, and 32 members out of a 40-member State House of Assembly leveled complaint against the speaker, allegedly,
Yes.
and the leadership of the party leveled complaint against the speaker with respect to the way he treated the governor, and the governor laid complaint against the speaker. So you are in the position of the president and you try to mediate, and you have seen levels of complaints against this person. What would you do? So the hallmark of leadership is to listen to the followership. And I think what the president has done is to have done the right thing. Allow the State House of Assembly to determine their leaders, and allow the leadership of the party within the Lagos party structure to have a say in the governance of Lagos. And I see nothing wrong in what the president has done. I think what the people have done is just to take him into confidence so that nothing is done behind him. So I think he was just informed that, sir, this is what we think. And then there's nothing the president could have done, because he could have mediated and he had asked the speaker to do one or two things and the speaker didn't do that. What do you expect him to do? So no doubt that the president will be informed, because he's from Lagos State, he's the national leader of the party, he's the president of the Federal Republic. So what else
Okay.
could he have done?
Okay. I think that's quite understood. Coming from the explanation of hierarchy and modus operandi as to who should be reported to on the levels of governance now. Now, coming over to the first female Speaker of the House, Obasa, he was subsequently replaced by his deputy. Now, who now is the first female Speaker, Mojisola Meranda. Now, Ms. Miranda, who represents Apapa Constituency 1, was also a former chief whip of the House. Now, how could the leadership transition to Mojisola now, as the new speaker, influence the legislative agenda and priorities of the Lagos State House of Assembly, especially in the light of the recent controversies surrounding our financial management?
Now, you could see what she said, that what our concern is for the progress of Lagos, which is in alignment with the slogan of the Lagos State government. And you also judge from her speech that is the dawn of a new day, in which that the leadership that is responsible, leadership that listens, leadership that involves every stakeholder in the management of things. And I think if she lived true to what she said in her speech that she delivered, I can assure you that governance in Lagos State will not suffer. I can assure you that things will work out smoothly in terms of governance, in terms of transparency in Lagos. And besides, from gender point of view, women have the capacity of bringing people together. Yeah. So I think that she will have the capacity of bringing everybody together in the house, and everybody will work on purpose and in the same direction. So I'll give her the benefit of doubt. Don't forget that she's experienced. She's not just coming to the house. She's been in the house. She's occupied leadership position before, and she understood the dynamics that brought her into power, and she will not want to make the same mistake. Okay. Only fools do not learn from experience of others.
Okay, talking about understanding the dynamics of the powers that be in the house, which I want to believe she should definitely understand. She actually met with members of the Governor's Advisory Council, the GAC. Now, this is actually the highest decision-making body of the APC within Lagos State, alongside other members of the State Assembly at the House in Marina. Now, considering the circumstances surrounding the whole impeachment, now she as the first speaker, which you've actually said now women have the capacity to bring people together. As the first female speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, what implications do you believe this event has for the future dynamics of Lagos? Not just resting on the fact that females have the capacity to bring people together.
I think you recall towards 2023 election,
Yes.
There were clamor that women are not involved in the scheme of things in Lagos, and that there's a need for women inclusion and the rest of it. That the governor is a male, the deputy governor is a male, and there were clamor for the deputy governor to be removed, to be replaced by a male. I think that this particular incident played into the hands of assuaging the feelings of women, of getting them involved, of getting them represented at the highest level when it comes to governance. Although
Okay.
I'm not a fan of this diversity, equity, and inclusion. I believe everybody should get represented. For example, our own case, she offered herself to serve in her community. They sent her to the House of Assembly. She's been there first, second term, and she was in chief whip, and then she grew to become deputy speaker automatically, which brought her to be elevated to. What my own implication is that for women to get involved heavily at the grassroots level, at the state level, at the national level, and that's when they can get the kind of representation that they are looking for. The power is not served a la carte. Power is served for people that worked and clamor for it. So, as far as I'm concerned, um, they have the representation based on the kind of involvement they have.
Okay, in the scheme of things, it therefore means that Lagos State is trying to rewrite the narrative based on gender-based representation now, if I may get you from the summary point of view. Now, on a conclusive note,
Exactly.
before we wrap up, with the political climate in Lagos, which grew increasingly fraught, Obasa in his hubris seemed blissfully unaware of the storm which was actually gathering, because information making the rounds was that he was away while he was impeached. Now, the very leaders who had once rallied round behind him began to distance themselves, wary of the repercussions of his unchecked ambition. Will you agree that in the end, it was not merely the actions of his colleagues that sealed his fate? I mean fate now, I'm talking about Obasa's fate, but his own inability to recognize the delicate balance of power within the political sphere?
You see, now people must understand the principle of leadership. How did you assume the leadership position that you are? Is it by birth? Is it by authority? Is it by position? Now, leadership position, majority of the people in political space in Nigeria achieve leadership by position. They don't have political base, they don't have grassroots support and the rest of it. And once you withdraw that position, they become irrelevant. And so it should be a learning experience for everybody occupying whatsoever position. If they take this position away from me today, what will I amount to? That's the question. And I'll quickly give you this. I watched an interview which the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, which he gave, and which he was tongue-lashing journalists that have gone to interview him. I was taken aback with the level of the tolerance that journalists that interview him have without giving him a pushback concerning what he said. If they remove the Minister of Federal Capital Territory today as Minister of Federal Capital Territory, what relevance do you think it will have? Majority of the people that parade themselves as leaders in the political sphere in Nigeria today, they are just leadership by position. They are not leadership by personhood. Their leadership did not come from their community. Their leadership did not come from their personhood. So I think once you lose that position, people will distance themselves away from you. Where is Amici today? We can go on and on and on and mention the gladiators of the past that are just onlookers today in the political space.
Okay.
So my advice to the speaker of Lagos, the elected speaker, build yourself, build the system, build the people around you. Don't make it about your position. Don't make it about yourself.
Okay. Okay, that means if I may get you right, you're trying to say that there must be a particular charisma now attached to that figure in the political sphere, irrespective of wherever the fellow
Exactly.
might be playing from.
Exactly. You must understand. You must understand the dynamics of the environment with which you operate. It was because dinosaurs do not understand the dynamics of the changing environment. That's why they went into extinction. was because Obasa did not understand the dynamics of the political current of Lagos. That's why he has been impeached.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jide Johnson, for carving out time from your schedule for joining us on the show today.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Have a wonderful day.
And you too. Was Dr. Jide Johnson giving us insights regarding the political current in the Center of Excellence, Lagos State. Now, with this saga which took place in Lagos State House of Assembly as at last week, it serves as a stark reminder that in the ruthless arena of politics, because we will agree from discussions there that it's actually ruthless. Those who were actually the gladiators ended up finding themselves under the sand. Now, those who dare to dance close to the flame of power often find themselves scorched by their own ambition, leaving behind a legacy fraught with ashes of their own making, just as we've learned now from the explanation from Dr. Jide Johnson. The show has been Viewpoints, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. A Veegil Media production. I'm Mudashiru Obasa. Thanks for watching.